Okay, now that our project is open, we can see that if we click on play, we can see our character in a small world that has automatically been generated by our Unreal Engine. Our basic movements are also set up. We even have a jumping animation set up, and we can move, jump, and do whatever. So now we are going to add more functionality, our own character, and create our own world. So how do we do that? We need to start running our blueprints from here. So what do? We go to our third person folder, blueprints. Here we see that our BP third person character is over here. So what is our BP third person character? If we open it up, we can see that our BP third person character is our main character. Okay, so now that our third person character is open, we can see that in this we have our camera setup. So what I want to do is I want to increase the height of the camera, something like this, and I want to reduce the length to something like 200. This should be convenient since we are not making a shooter game. We don't want the camera offset to the right such as like this. We just want it in the center since it's a platformer game. So we'll just do it like this. And now if we go on our third person map and click on play, we can see that our camera is closer. Okay, now what else we can do is we can make a third person character as a master character, and then whatever it will have, it will be automatically transferred to its children, and we can use our children as one of the playable characters. What this will do is that if we want to create further enemies in our game later on, we can utilize this feature to give them health, and we don't have to code all of that again. So how do we do that? We open our content browser. I am pressing control space bar. You can do command space bar on Mac. We can do this to create open this up, and in our content third person blueprint and BP third person character, we are going to click on this, press F2 to rename it, and we are going to change this spelling of third person to master. So this will become our master character. Now what we are going to do is we are going to right click on this and create child blueprint class, and we will name it BP underscore player character. So whatever functionality we want to add will be added in our BP master class, and our player character will basically be a different character that our player will be using. So the changes made to player character will not affect the master character, but the changes made on the master character will impact on the player character. Okay, we have done this. What we can do is to make our player character as our playable character. We are going to go to project settings. In our go to maps and modes, and in maps and modes we are going to change our selected game mode from default pawn class master character to BP player character. That's it. That's all we had to do. Now we can open our player character. Now this is our player character. For example, let's say I want to change our queen to something else such as like Manny. We can change it here, and this also set to Manny. Whatever changes we are doing here are not impacting our master character. See, it's still a woman, it's still queen, while our child character is now a male, and if we press play, our child character will now be a male character. See, okay, so that's our first part. And now what we are going to do, what I want to do is I want to change a few functionalities, change the way our character look, its animations, and few other things. So how do we do that? We open our web browser and go to Mixamo. In mixamo.com, you will have to sign in. I have already signed in. You can sign in through Google. Now we have a list of multiple characters, a list of different characters that we can choose from. Let's say since we are making a platformer, and I can choose any character. I'll just uh, I'll just go with ninja. I'm going to click on ninja, and our ninja is going to load up here. Now that it is loaded up, we can click on downloads. We want to download it as an FBX binary and in TPOS. So we download. This character will automatically be rigged, and we can download animations from the very same website of Mixamo. It's a good place for starters to use Mixamo animations if you are learning and all. But if you are publishing your game, I would highly recommend using a separate character, since these characters are pretty much known to everybody. Going to the animations tab, we can see that there are multiple animations here. Let's search for idle animation. Mm, this idle animation looks a lot like it's something in combat game, so we'll use something that is not like a combat game animation. Something that is a simple idle animation. I guess this would do. We are not going to download with skin this time because it will increase all our data size that we need to download, so we'll just do it simply like this. Okay, now we have our idle animation downloading. We can use the run animation now. Run or a sprint, we can search for that. We can running upstairs is not what we want. Slow run on ninja. Okay, this seems okay, but it's way too slow. This is not what we would want. Okay, maybe this is what we would want. Let's click on in place. So our animation is in place. We click on download. Without skin, 30 fps, keyframe reduction, none. We download. Okay, now we have our slow run. If we want there is a fast run next to it, we can utilize the fast run animation as well. But for now I think we should download it too. Let's download. Okay, now let's search for stop animation. Do we have any run to stop animation? I don't see any run to stop animation, so we can just ignore that. And once our things are downloaded from here, we can import them in our Unreal Engine. In the meanwhile, let's search for crouch animations. We have crouching idle, but this is not a good crouching idle. Crouched walking. Okay, this we can use this for a stealth walking feature. And we can search a little for male crouch pose. This is a pose. No, we do not need it as an animation. Crouch idle, something like this. Why is it so much like it's going to attack right now? We don't need this one. How about this one? This does seem okay. We can slow the speed by reducing the overwrite. Let's go to download and download it. Now that we have downloaded our animations, we can go to our downloads folder and we can see all of the stuff we just downloaded. Let's just rename it to Ninja. We have our animations here as well, so we are going to copy all of them, or we can simply cut and paste it somewhere where we can access it from regularly. I have made a folder on my desktop in a UE5 assets. I have created this. We have our ninja underscore character. Okay, so in our back in our Unreal Engine, we'll go to content. Let's create a new folder here and name it characters, or we can utilize the pre-made for characters folder. Here we can make a folder named ninja. If we open it up, we can press Ctrl Shift N to create a new folder directly. We can name this one mesh and create another one for animations. So in our mesh, what I am going to do is click on import and go to the folder we just created. And create our character. So here in this import options, we do not need to select any import. We need to import the skeletal mesh and import the mesh. We don't need to import any animations right now, so we can click on import. We can just simply ignore this, and opening our content browser, we can see that we have our ninja character here. Let's rename them this one to m underscore ninja. This will be our material for our ninja character. It's going to take a while to load up everything and finish preparing shaders, so we'll just have to wait. Okay, we can open up our ninja character and see how it looks like. I'm moving with WASD. I can increase height with E and reduce it with Q. Okay, our character seems pretty fine to me. I think this is good for our game. So let's close this and go back here, and in our animations folder we are going to click on import, and we are going to select all except the character this time, since these are only the animations that we need to import. We are going to select a mesh. That mesh is going to be ninja character selection, and we are going to click on import all. You can see all our basic animations will be here. Now what we can do is we can create a animation blend space. Animation blueprint will be the main one that we will integrate into our character, that will tell our character how animations are going to work. So we will have to create this, but for now let's create animation blend space. I'm going to create a one-dimensional blend space. This one-dimensional blend space is because I don't want a shooter like game. I want the character to face where the character is going. I don't want it to always face in front, and that is why I will not use a two-dimensional blend space but rather a one-dimensional blend space. So let's rename it bs underscore ninja underscore locomotion, or rather idle idle run. Yeah, this one seems better. You're going to open it up and you are going to see this screen. So what in this screen are we going to do is that we are going to import our idle animation and place it on 0, and our slow run animation place it somewhere around center, and our fast run animation place it to the end. We are going to go to axis settings, horizontal axis. Now how is this going to change? This is going to change depending on the speed of our character. So we will name this horizontal axis as speed. Our minimum value is going to be 0. Our maximum value, let's say, it's going to be 600, divisions 6, and snap to grid. So we will just expand our fast run to the max and slow run to like this. Okay. Smoothing time, we can increase the smoothing time to give it a more a consistent feel. I personally like to use ease in and out, exponential and cubics for this. Let's use exponential, or rather cubic. Let's use cubic, and we click on save. This is our basic animation for our stand-up character setup. Now what we need to do is right click and go to animations and create an blueprint. Again, select the ninja character, so click on create. Let's name this nmbp underscore ninja. So we open it up, and the first thing that we need to do is create a state machine. Add new state machine, and we will name this locomotion. So state machine is the one in which you import or create all the logic about your animations, and we can do multiple more features of coding and present them on the anim graph. This is the anim graph, and finally the result would be on this pose, and this pose is what it will implement on our main character. So let's go and open our locomotion. In our locomotion, we are simply going to import our blend space ninja idle run, and we are going to connect it like this and click on compile. Now we go and back and create a cache. It's not necessary at the moment, but I always like to create cache, so we will just go and do this c underscore locomotion, and this we'll drag up in from here and write c underscore, and it will give us the cache post. I use this C as an identifier for a cache in my anim graphs. So when I press play, it will do this. But what will happen is that it will never move to walking animation. This is because in our blend space, we have not set up the value for speed. It's always going to be consistently 0. So we will drag up in from here and click on promote to variable of speed. Okay, and go to event graph. Now here is all the complex logic. This event graph is what we will use to update the variables in our animation blueprint. Animation graph, anim graph, is what we are going to use to update animations. So here in variables, we are going to right click and create a event blueprint begin play. I don't want to use casting again and again. This is why I'm using this. And try get pawn owner, and I'm going to change get an is valid pin. If it is valid, I want to cast to player character, and if we don't need this casting, we don't need this is valid pin here, we can simply cast it to our BP player character, and if the casting passes, I want to promote this to a variable so I can use this reference again and again. So let's change the name to player character reference. So now what we do is we hold and press Ctrl and drag it here. So we will have this get value. If we drag from here and press alt simultaneously and then stop it, then we can set this value. We don't need to set it right now, we just need to get the value. Okay, we get the value and we right click on it and convert to validated get. It's basically like implementing an is valid next to it. If I was to do it like this, get this value and then connect an is valid node next to it, and then this execution pin will become this one, is valid will become this one, is not valid will become this one, and then I can further processes all of this. But it is two nodes, so for faster working we can simply convert it to get validated box. Okay, and now we have this, and on is valid, what I want to do is get velocity of our character. We go down and we choose this one, get velocity. Now we have the velocity of our character, but how do we get the speed of our character? For that we drag a pin from here and click on vector length xy. Xy does not include the z factor, which is the jumping factor, so our speed will only be on the ground basis, x and y basis, and we can set this as our speed variable. If we drag it directly here and connect it to the pin, we will directly set up our speed, and we connect it to is valid node. So there we go, we can just drag it up and our speed is set up. Now changing the value of speed will change our character speed. We go here, we click on play. Okay, sorry, we haven't set up the character yet, so we go back to BP player character and we change our animation to NMBP ninja and our skeletal mesh to ninja character, and then we click on compile and we click on play. Our character is now moving and working well. Okay, our character speed is set up at 400, I think. Maximum walk speed is 500. Let's change it to 300 and crouch speed to 200 and try this now. So we have our slow run animation working. Okay, in events graph, or no, in our master character class, we go down and we create an input graph, and in this input graph I'm going to move all the inputs from our event graph to our input graph. Okay, now what we are going to do is we create a sprint feature. So we go to project settings, go down in inputs, go to actions, go to click on the plus icon, and then click on sprint. Type in sprint, select value, press this key, and then press shift. It will automatically register the key that you want to use for your sprint action. I have registered left shift for my sprint action. So we go back here in our master character, we right click and we type in sprint. It will show you input action events sprint. We put this here and we get our character movement components. And on pressed, what I want to do is I will drag a pin from here and set max walk speed. I want to set it to 600 when it is held, and when it is released I want to set it back to 300. Make sure you connect the target pins. That's it, and that's our character movement setup. And when I press shift, it starts sprinting with a speed of 600 meter per second, centimeter per second, not meter per second. That's it for this part, guys. If you like the video, like, comment and subscribe. I hope for next parts, from further parts, if you want any assistance you can comment down. Let me know if there's anything else I can help you with. Thank you and have a good day.